During a punishing dry season in a vast wildlife reserve in southern Africa, the land cracked open under a relentless sun, and only a few shallow pools shimmered weakly across the dusty plains. An aging bull elephant wandered slowly through the heat, favoring his right forefoot, which had swollen from a painful abscess. Each step cost him effort, and the constant ache made it harder for him to keep pace with his herd. Soon he lagged behind, becoming a lonely figure moving across an empty landscape where dry wind whispered through brittle grass. His eyes dulled with exhaustion, and his heavy ears drooped as though weighed down by silent suffering. Eventually, he settled beside a fading puddle, dipping his trunk now and then to sip small amounts of muddy water just to stay alive. The elephant rested for hours, too weak to search for food. A hot wind wrapped around his weary body like a rough blanket. He seemed to drift between hope and surrender, unsure if he would ever reunite with his family. One afternoon, a small black bird with a sharp, curved beak fluttered down near him. Curious and fearless, it studied the swollen foot carefully. The bird hopped closer, tilting its head as if assessing the injury. Then, in a sudden motion, it pecked at the tense skin. The abscess burst open, and thick yellow fluid spilled onto the ground. The elephant flinched at first, but soon felt the pressure easing. He lifted his foot slightly, surprised by the small wave of relief that followed. The bird pecked a few more times, draining more fluid before chirping softly and flying away. The elephant lifted his trunk as though offering silent thanks before settling down to rest. That night, he slept more peacefully, believing the worst had passed. But relief proved temporary. Within days, the wound swelled again, growing hotter and more painful. A foul smell began to rise from the infected tissue, and pus seeped steadily from the sore. Walking became nearly impossible. Weakness spread through his body as hunger and dehydration took their toll. Flies gathered around the wound, and even when he flapped his ears in frustration, he could not keep them away. The shrinking puddle beside him turned to sticky mud, and the blazing sun drained his remaining strength. He lay still for long stretches, breathing heavily, his ribs slowly becoming visible beneath his skin. One morning, as golden light stretched across the plains, two wildlife rangers named Lucas Reed and Mateo Hayes were checking the reserve's water sources. From a distance, they noticed a massive gray form lying motionless near the edge of a nearly dry pool. As they approached, they realized the elephant was alive but badly injured. His breathing was labored, and his eyes reflected deep fatigue. Lucas gently checked the elephant's condition while Mateo radioed for emergency veterinary support. They poured fresh water into the elephant's trunk, allowing him to drink slowly. Mateo marked the area with rope to keep other animals at a safe distance, while Lucas stayed close, speaking calmly in a low, reassuring voice. Soon the rumble of a rescue truck echoed across the plain. A skilled team arrived with tarps, ropes, and medical supplies. Working together with care and patience, they managed to lift the weakened elephant onto a specialized transport rig. Mateo rode beside the animal's head during the journey, monitoring his breathing and ensuring he remained as comfortable as possible. When they reached the ranger station, a veterinarian named Dr. Elena Morris immediately began a thorough examination. Tests showed that while the abscess was severe, it had not yet reached the bone, giving the elephant a strong chance of recovery. The veterinary team cleaned the wound carefully, flushing out infection and trimming away dead tissue. They wrapped the foot in sterile dressings and administered antibiotics and pain medication. The elephant was placed in a spacious shaded shelter lined with straw, where fresh hay and clean water were always within reach. Staff members worked day and night to change bandages, check his temperature, and monitor his progress. After just a few days, his breathing steadied, and a spark of life returned to his tired eyes. The swelling began to shrink, and the foul odor faded. Within a week, he was able to stand again, slowly chewing hay while gaining strength. Lucas and Mateo visited daily, watching proudly as he improved. The vets increased his diet with fruits and vegetables to help him regain weight and energy. Each morning, Mateo guided him to a small outdoor enclosure so he could feel sunlight and stretch his legs. The elephant clearly enjoyed the gentle sprays of cool water that washed over his back and head. Gradually, his skin regained its healthy shine, and new tissue formed over the wound. His steps grew steadier, and the once crippling pain faded into memory. After a full month of dedicated care, the abscess healed completely, leaving no sign of infection. The day finally came for his return to the wild. Lucas and Mateo prepared the transport truck and gently encouraged the elephant to walk up the ramp. During the journey, he lifted his trunk often, as though recognizing the familiar sense of home. When the truck door opened, he stepped down slowly onto the open plains. The late afternoon sun bathed his wrinkled skin in warm light as he inhaled deeply, rediscovering the smells of dry grass and distant water. He let out a low rumble that sounded almost like gratitude. With calm, confident steps, he moved forward, leaving deep impressions in the earth behind him. Lucas and Mateo watched quietly, their hearts full of pride and relief. In the distance, a group of elephants appeared, their shapes growing clearer as they approached. The bull paused, raised his trunk, and then walked faster toward them. Their calls echoed across the landscape as they welcomed him back into the herd. No longer alone, he disappeared slowly into the grasslands, free and strong once more. The rangers turned back toward their station, carrying the quiet satisfaction of knowing they had saved not just one life but also strengthened the bond between humans and the wild. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with orange and pink hues, the story of the injured elephant, the brave little bird, and the dedicated rescuers became a tale worth sharing. Stories like this remind us that compassion can cross every boundary, even between species. If this journey touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so more people can hear powerful stories of resilience, kindness, and hope from the natural world.